Season 5 is right around the corner and I thought to myself, what kind of wishlist do I have for the upcoming new season? And I was also wondering what other people would like to see added or changed, so I went out to ask my viewers on Twitch and put together this list. I ended up only including things that I personally agreed with as well, but I'm curious nonetheless. So this video is as much about me sharing what I want to see myself as it is about me looking forward to seeing what you guys want to have added or changed. So don't forget to leave your own thoughts down in the comment section below. Now without further ado, let's get right into it. Number 1. Dedicated solo and duo queues. A big part of the community already agrees to solo and duo queuing being the most effective way of ranking up anyway. In addition to that, players have witnessed a whole lot of nonsense coming from the matchmaker when they queue with more than 2 people. Catering to these people to provide a more consistent gameplay experience is something that I would personally be all for. It's annoying to be that one guy to fill out a 5 stack and then play against a full 6-man. Finding balanced matches is so much easier for the matchmaker if it only has to find a match for yourself. Duo queuing is usually acceptable as long as you have a similar rating, but as soon as you go beyond that, really weird matchups tend to happen. So as much as I know that this is very likely to never going to happen because they don't want to split their player base, dedicated duo and solo queues are something that I would love to see. Number 2. SR distribution tweaks. As it stands, most of the time I understand perfectly why I got the amount of SR that I got. Between hitting the top of your MMR and having games that go better or worse than your average one, I do feel that most of the time the system is rather fair. However, there are a lot of players out there that do not understand why they just got 30 points or why they only got 19. This is where sharing more information with the players is what I think should happen. However, you also have very odd scenarios where players can't at all understand where the hell their SR distribution comes from. Just recently I had a game that only granted me 11 SR when the game before and after I had gotten around 26. Well, that one could have just been an odd glitch. There have also been circumstances where a mismatch costs the player a lot of SR. For example, having a 3700 average team compete with a 4200 average team, getting stomped and then still losing 25 points for that. There are a bunch of circumstances where the SR distribution just doesn't feel fair. What I'm saying is not that it should be more generous, but that players should always be able to follow and understand why they just got or lost as much as they did. Number 3. Netcode tweaks. Altogether, I would just call this a fix of inconsistencies. When it comes to my personal opinion, inconsistencies have no place in a competitive game mode. The problem is that Overwatch has been built from the ground up with accessibility in mind, which creates a lot of problems in a competitive environment. There are numerous times where I play a Roadhog into a Genji and I would not only get the sound confirming that I just hooked the guy, but also visually see that he has been hooked. But then the game decides to break the hook in a moment that to me looks like he just pulled his deflect while he should have been stunned. There are some abilities that feel disgustingly inconsistent and unfair in relation to their timing, and deflect is one such ability. I've also seen Reinhardt's hammer down an entire team when he clearly uses ultimate into the other Reinhardt shield. But again, netcode inconsistencies allowed this attack to go through when it really should not have. At the end of the day, I can't tell who or what the game favors. There are times where I feel bullshitted, there are other times where I bullshit others, but none of it is predictable in any way, shape or form. And again, I don't think that has any place in a competitive game mode. Number 4. No more hero or map releases in middle of a ranked season. While the PTR phase is very helpful in getting to know new content before it hits the live servers, having new maps and heroes in the rotation in middle of a ranked season is always annoying for multiple reasons. Hey, short break here, it's editing Cliff. I just so happened to realize that they did this exact thing with Orisa, and I'm kind of going in depth about how I think that hero launches should be, you know, handled differently. But what I actually meant was that they should keep it until the end of the season, and then launch them to competitive when the next season starts. It's kind of confusing. I didn't get in detail about the maps when the maps were actually my main focus when I originally came up with that. Well, I guess just ignore this point. Obviously, you have players trying out new heroes when they still don't know how to play them, potentially throwing a game. You also have other players protesting against the new hero because they are under the impression that nobody figured out how to play them yet. This creates a lot of very annoying arguments that I honestly think could have been avoided. New maps and heroes should either be launched during the season downtime, or they should be made unavailable for a few weeks on ranked after they launch. And number 5, there are a few hero tweaks I would love to see in particular. I think Pharmacy is too omnipresent present and too strong across the entire ladder. I have talked to a wide variety of players all across the ladder, and I have heard a lot of complaints about Pharah in general, but Pharmacy in particular. For that purpose, I would suggest nerfing Pharah's ability to stay in the air indefinitely. In the sky, only a fraction of the hero roster can even contest her, which doesn't only allow her to freely rain damage down, but having a Mercy on her belt as well also makes her virtually unkillable. So at least having it so she has to touch the ground more often would help with the amount of damage she can rain down freely and without thought. Personally, I would have loved to see a decrease to knockback and splash damage of her basic attack, while maintaining her damage on direct rockets, and that to reward skillful Pharahs while discouraging mindless rocket spam. I would also like to see a minor increase in effective range for McCree to better be able to deal with Pharah, but not so much that he goes back to his old days of outsniping Widowmaker. Additionally, I personally feel that there's no question that Mercy's resurrection charges way too fast. The problem with Mercy is that she's entirely relied on as a res token. Res as a whole is a very frustrating ability to oppose, and even for Mercy players themselves, getting yelled at for not getting a res off because they have been focused simply can't be fun. I'd love to see some sort of utility added to her kit, like for example being able to purge single targets on a cooldown, meaning she could remove status effects like Discord Orb or anti-heal and make the targets immune to it for a couple of seconds. I'd also like to see Genji's deflect fixed. Yes, it would be a nerf in the grand scheme of things, but in my opinion, deflect should be a defense mechanism and not something you use offensively. There is no reason for the hitbox to extend that much over his zone, deflecting damage that wasn't even aimed at him. And that's it for me here today as I count down my personal top 5 wishes for the upcoming competitive Season 5 in Overwatch. Do let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Don't forget to drop me a like on your way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and hope to see you all next time.
Thank you. 60% accurate.
I just made that bitch uninstall life. Get out of my face.
That guy, I'm gonna touch myself to that one tonight. Make sure to clip that.